We'll think about it and we'll get back to you. It took them about a year.
They're developing it themselves.
That's the thing. That's the crazy thing.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Ryan.
I'm Justin. This is Pods on Marketing. We got a special guest,
Chris Roth.
Hey.
On social media, I am at JustinMarket702.
I'm at iRule Social Media.
And I'm at Chris Markets Vegas.
Today we've got a kind of weird one. I'm going to tell these guys the story of how I helped get virtual tours on Zillow open to everybody. And we're also going to talk through the benefits of virtual tours as a thing. So if you've been in real estate for any amount of time, you know that in the last 5 years, it's become almost necessary to have a virtual tour on your property. It's one of the things that makes it stand out. It is now standard on Zillow, and there are several different ways that you can make it happen.
Yep.
Virtual tours are the little walkthroughs where wherever you put the camera, you can look in every direction and see what it'd be like to stand in the house at that point, right? So
it's like a 360 tour.
Yeah. It's a perfect example because a lot of them are created with 360 cameras. They have 360 cameras. They have little things that go on top of a tripod and spin around with your iPhone in it. And then they have the really big LiDAR cameras that Matterport has. And those spin around the room too and capture all of the details.
And they're really impressive because we work with agents all day. And Justin had a example, I think, of the Matterport one up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I've never seen that. So
it's where it mapped out the room and everything, correct?
Yeah.
It was cool.
And most of those systems now not only map out the whole room, but they're also going to give you a floor plan and you can have measurements off of it. So when you're talking about them in different tiers, Matterport's the one everybody knows because it has that really cool looking dollhouse. And then you zoom into the dollhouse and you're standing wherever you are in the room.
Great branding.
Right? The competitors to them, though, there's one competitor in particular called Inside Maps. And I really like Inside Maps from a long-term owner perspective. It's the owner gets more value out of it than just the advertisement because in addition to doing the 3D tour and having a floor plan, it analyzes the whole space with AI and algorithmic learning and says, you've got this much carpet, you've got this much tile, you've got this much wall area, you've got this much ceiling area, and you've got this much volume. And you use those to calculate HVAC load, how much paint you're going to need, and if you're swapping out carpet for tile or carpet for laminate.
You won't have all those extra tiles in your garage now. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's my favorite thing about moving into a house is you get the little stack of stuff that's left over from all their projects.
Exactly right. Yes.
So that particular one was the most useful to me because I worked for American Homes for Rent for quite a number of years. And while I was there and putting their marketing program together, we wanted both the benefits of a 3D tour and the asset preservation, protection, and analysis that comes from all the other data.
Wow.
So we were using Inside Maps to scan every home. It came in great. We had great information, and we could do a ton with it. I was on the single-family rental advisory board at Zillow, and we were going to these meetings, and we said, hey, we've got these really cool 3D tours. We want to put them on Zillow. How do we do that? Because you won't let us put links in the description. Fair. And all you've got space for is just pictures. And they go, well, think about it, and we'll get back to you. It took them about a year.
They're developing it themselves.
That's the thing. That's the crazy thing. We came in and sat in a meeting a year after we'd had this discussion. And in that meeting, they said, we're so excited to show you this. It's a way that you can take your phone and get a 3D tour inside of a house. We call it Zillow Home Tours.
Wow.
And I go, okay, that's great. But what if I already have one? You're basically asking us to recreate all of this stuff. We have data on thousands of houses at this point.
They want you to use theirs.
Yeah. And they're like, well, yeah, you can just go and do this. I go, that's great if you're an individual owner. If you're an individual realtor, I see the value. It has no value for us.
Right.
You're asking us to spend another hour at the house that we don't need to spend.
True.
And they went, okay, let's look at it. Let's figure it out. And it took them another year before they opened up the field. But at that point, they had API and all that stuff, so you could just kind of pump it through in the feed, and they started showing up everywhere. Now, as far as the virtual tours themselves go, what have your conversations with realtors been around virtual tours?
I'll go first. So a lot of the real estate agents that I work with do a lot of high-end luxury properties. Every property that they list has virtual tour on it that they're promoting on social media, YouTube, all of the channels, sending it out to potential buyers. They're really taking advantage of the virtual tours. And I promote them as well if they're not using something like that. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, same thing pretty much. I mean, so there's advantages, of course, of being more technologically advanced and using virtual tours. I mean, you can send a tour to out-of-town buyers that normally maybe wouldn't be able to see it as well from just your pictures. So, I mean, you have that. A lot of agents also like it because it lets you kind of leverage out. They call it like the looky-loos. Because if someone's taking the time to go through a virtual tour and then they have questions, I mean, they're probably a pretty promising prospect. And then also when you have a listing, your sellers are going to like the fact that you're doing this and marketing their home, you know, and putting them in the best position to sell their home. So, I mean, there's a lot of advantages to it. But I do have a question because I never saw one as cool as the one that you showed me that day.
Which one was
like,
that?
What's the difference between like the regular virtual tours and the one that you had up? Like that one was next level.
Yeah, so that was a Matterport one, and the thing that's nice about Matterport is one of the things they're doing with their learning algorithm is they're making it so that when you transition from a point to point in the home, it looks like you're moving inside the home, kind of like with Google Street View, where you shift from place to place and it looks like you're driving down the street. Matterport does the same thing, so it feels more like it's a complete 3D model.
Yeah, that's cool.
Even though with the iPhone and with the Ryko Theta, which is like a 360 camera, with those, it's not a true 3D model. It's photos mapped onto a box it kind of imagines. The only one that's truly a 3D model is the one that they make with the giant LiDAR camera.
Oh, yeah.
And those are usually the ones that you'll see in the $2 and $3 million listings and up.
So what can for agents who maybe don't have those kind of listings, is the best solution for them to use the Matterport?
So I think so, because there's this thing called the Matterport Axis, and it goes right on the top of a tripod, and you load into your app, and you push take scan, and then just make sure you're standing behind, and you do this little dance walking behind the tripod while it scans, and then you tilt it, and you do the scan again. So it has two sets of photos from that one point that it's going to create the photosphere on. Okay. And then you pick up your tripod and move it about 6 to 8 feet away and do it again. So it's totally achievable for any realtor to do it, I think.
And what's like the cost for that? Like,
the Axis is $70.
Oh, cool.
Right? So the Axis itself is $70, and that's going to use your phone or your Android.
Okay.
The Ryko Theta cameras will make it faster. If you're doing a lot of these or buying one for the office, the Ryko Theta being a 360 camera, so it takes pictures in all directions, it doesn't spin. It takes one picture, and then you move it. So you can do it a lot faster, but those are like $400 cameras, and they're going to go up with the tariffs. So they're going to be $500, $600 cameras.
Get them now.
The giant LiDAR monster is about $4,000. You can sometimes buy them used for less, but they're $3,000 to $4,000. They're crazy, and it's a really high end piece that's not necessary for 99% of homes.
Well, I mean, at least the value, though. I mean, and that's why it's so great we have these conversations. Like integrating this into your marketing strategy for your homes gives you an advantage and lets you stand out as an agent. But I also feel, like I said, even the difference of the one that Justin showed me, like I'm not buying a home right now, but it made me watch it just because I've never seen that before. Yeah. You know, so I think it can help you stand out as an agent.
Yeah, and that's the value of putting together a high-quality video like that. Rather than just going shooting videos of a room and walking through, which is great, if you have a virtual tour, it just adds that next level of, of marketing and performance. And, you know, as you had mentioned, if you have your sellers that are aware that you've done that, you know, share that with them. How they can promote their property as well with people.
Yeah.
It's nice to do on the listing sit too, because you can talk about the delta for people that for properties that have virtual tours versus those that don't. Properties with virtual tours get a lot more engagement and activity on the platform. A lot more. They'll usually sell quicker as well.
So you can distinguish yourself as an agent.
Days on market will be fewer.
Well, yeah. If I talk to like a couple agents, right, and I didn't know all agents. If I talked to a couple agents and Justin, I met with him and he showed me the way he showed me, I would go with him. So it can make you stand out.
The other thing that's nice about it, the way they do it now, is Matterport recently started doing more AI stuff. And so now if you shoot a furnished property, there's a button and it says remove furniture. And then you're looking at a nothing house.
That's what you showed me. That was really cool. Yeah. And then that makes it easier too for like properties.
The opposite of virtual staging.
Correct.
Well, yeah. So then if you have a property,
virtual de-staging.
Yeah, you can virtual de-stage. You know what I mean? You can save a lot of time. That's a feature you showed me though, and I was like, well, that's sweet. Yeah.
And to talk about virtual staging for a second, I think that, and this is a guess, but I think that as they continue doing this stuff, there's going to be more and more integrations with purchase of furniture or existing furniture where you can load in and scan your furniture and go, can I get this couch in the house? And it has enough knowledge of the geometry and angles to go, you're not. Pivot's not going to work, right?
I wish I would have had that because I just moved and I had to get another couch because the couch was too big.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, you know, next table.
And I've done that too, moving, where you take a door off just so that you can get around the
You're
hinges.
like wiggling it through.
Or you're taking the feet off of
That's
things.
always fun part of everything.
Always fun part. I also think
Can't
eventually,
get around that corner.
yeah. I also think eventually we're going to see shopping inside of the app. We're in Matterport. You can tell it. I'm a mid-century modern kind of dude. Can you furnish the place? Maybe like, ooh, I want a retro look. Let's make it all leather and oak paneling. And they'll tell you what you need.
Right.
And I think that's where Inside Maps had their thing right, because they had the ability there with that data for you to
Had
come
all the
in.
measurements and everything in there, yeah.
And just go for it and go, cool, switch it out. It even had, like, you can overlay and measure different areas. One of the things you can do too right now with ChatGPT's piece is you can take a still image from these virtual tours, like at a specific angle, capturing the corner, and then you can take like screen captures of furniture and say, put this in this room. And it'll do it pretty well.
Pretty good.
So you can virtual stage.
And ChatGPT is actively getting better, because I remember at first, like, I'd upload like a picture and it makes you look like a witch or something. You know, like it kind of looks like you, but it's not. But it's getting a lot better. Another
Well, that's
thing,
AI. Their AI is always.
but they're changing it so quickly. But like another cool thing too with that is like, I just thought about it. Even if you wanted to see what something looked like, I mean, you could kind of do it in CapCut.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I think the point in this and where it's going to come in really handy is as we move forward and all this stuff keeps piling up, these virtual tours are going to be almost a necessity. I don't think we're too far away from you scanning the house you're living in, putting it into the virtual tour and going, put my furniture in here. And it's going to put the stuff in the rooms in a room. It's going to put the stuff in the living room and decide which is the living room.
Even like the way the Las Vegas market is right now, we have just an enormous amount of inventory with not enough buyers in town right now. So having a virtual tour, just one more level to set you apart to your audience out there.
Yeah, and market them to out-of-town buyers.
I think that's the biggest benefit for it too.
Yeah.
Is for out-of-town buyers and for investors that want rentals and don't really care. They just want to put capital in it.
Yeah.
Those are the two groups that I've seen most using it. But in-market buyers are all just doing it to wean it out. Because if a house has a weird layout, and you walk in and you're staring at a wall, you can find that out.
Yeah.
You buy it out to.
And like the other advantage too, though, right? So like, say you have like a really well optimized, like I said, how Justin's the one he showed me the virtual tour was. You can cut down the number of showings that you have to do for your clients.
Yeah.
Like if you show them a virtual tour and they're like, okay, like I pretty much get it from this, then you won't have to go out and do as many showings. So it can kind of streamline your daily workload and process.
Think about it like a filter in the process,
Yeah.
right? So in the same way that you get the looky-loos, then they just want to see the property. Like there's some people that just go and tour houses sometimes for fun. A little harder now without a buyer's agent, so they chase open houses. But it'll get them out of your pipeline.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even, I wonder if they'd be okay with them doing that at the new builds.
So one of the things that's really interesting they do at new builds is that they have like 3 or 4 floor plans and then they're reversed. So on new builds, they have these for all the new builds.
Okay.
Right.
And they're just like, which floor plan is it? Okay, cool. Here's that
Here you
floor
go.
plan.
Yeah.
So they only have to make like 3 and then flip all of those, or 6 if they want to actually film all of them. Then they've got it for all 200 homes they're building. Or
That's awesome.
50 or however many they do.
That's awesome.
Because we did that for new home communities.
Really?
Yeah, at AMH, yeah.
So if you're not on virtual tours, you should get
You're
on.
not using virtual tours. You're not taking advantage of them.
You're missing out, and you can separate yourself from the marketplace. Clearly, we have the virtual tour expert here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, call him, text him,
Chris.
DM him, whatever.
One of us 3 will be your expert, I'm sure.
We all
if
know
one of us
something.
doesn't have the answer, the other one does.
Yeah.
Right. So if you need help with your marketing, reach out to at iReal Social Media.
Justin Market 702.
Chris Markets Vegas.
Thanks for joining us for this one. Bye.
See ya.